Life here is so cool, you muttered to yourself while giggling as you descended the stairs. Your parents had gone abroad on a business trip, so for one whole month you were supposed to stay with your elder sister Yuna. She had recently gotten married into the wealthy Jeon family, and her new home was elegant, spacious, and filled with the kind of quiet rules that come with living in a traditional household. As soon as you entered the kitchen, you plopped down on the counter like a spoiled little child. Yuna was chopping the cucumber, but the moment she looked at you, an exaggerated sigh left her mouth. She slammed the knife on the table and leaned closer to you. You cute pouted, looking at her. Hey, Yuni, what are you doing? Can't you see I'm making dinner? This is not your home, why? And what if father-in-law or Jungkook see you? Her eyes darted towards you and she frowned. You rolled your eyes dramatically and grabbed a slice of cucumber from her cutting board. Oh, please, Yoni, everything here is nice, and I swear I don't feel comfortable in those long frocks and you always force me to wear. They make me feel like Ajuma. I want to feel comfortable. Yuna glared at you. Shut your mouth. What is someone hear you? Listen, these are not good manners and sit properly, she said while watching your careless posture. You let out an exaggerated sigh, tilting your head dramatically. Oh, come on, Oni, your thoughts are so old fashioned. Times have changed. I am warning you. If you want to stay, you will have to behave like a normal person. Don't embarrass me in front of my in laws, okay? You click your tongue at her. Suddenly, Mrs. June, her mother in law, a kind looking lady in her late 50s, entered the kitchen. She looked at you and raised her brows. Oh, isn't this a miracle? Wine in the kitchen? Auntie, you make it sound like I'm allergic to kitchens. Mrs. June chuckled, clearly entertained by your straightforwardness. Yuna, tell me, can Wine cook something too? Before you could say something, Yuna spoke. No, no, mom. Wine actually cooks really well. In fact, she even won first place in her high school cooking competition. Even our neighbors loved her handmade food. Wine is really good at cooking. You widened your eyes and playfully smacked Yuna's arm. Only don't exaggerate, I just know a few recipes. Yuna crossed her arms slightly, glaring at you. No, I'm not exaggerating. You cook really well, Mrs. June's eyes brightened up. And I thought she didn't even know how to chop the onions. It is so difficult for today's generation to be expert in house chores. Just give them a mobile phone and they won't be visible anymore. You laughed and said, Yeah, auntie, you are right. Well, dear, tonight you should make the dinner. I would love to taste your handmade food if you don't mind, of course. Yuna pouted like a little girl who felt left out. Mom, don't I make good food? Mrs. June reached over and patted her daughter in law's shoulder. Of course you do, dear. You make delicious food, but I have eaten your cooking many times already. I want to try wines. I want to see what magic her hands hold. You smiled and stood up dramatically, brushing imaginary dust from your skirt. Fine, then both of you go outside. Tonight you will see just how delicious my food can be. And auntie, I'm telling you, I will demand remand if you like food. Why not, dear, if I will give you as much as you want? You giggle and begin to cut the vegetables. Mrs. June liked you for her younger son Jungkook. Ever since she saw you for the first time, cheerful and outspoken, she thought only a girl like you can make her son live a life full of fun. As they both left, you tied your hair in a ponytail and rolled up your sleeves as you began preparing the dinner. After a while, everything was perfectly ready and the kitchen was filled with the aroma of delicious food. You smiled to yourself and covering the steaming bulgogi with lid, you removed the apron and rushed upstairs to freshen up. Reaching the room, you closed the door, but before you could turn around completely, you saw Jungkook. Hey! You guessed, rolling your eyes at the person. It was Jungkook, your sister's brother-in-law. What if I don't, Miss Beautiful? He said, making your cheeks flush. Jungkook, not now. I need to freshen up. You were speaking out. Suddenly, Mrs. June lowered her call from downstairs. Kids, dinner has been set. Come down and have it before it gets cold. You opened the door and pushed him out. I need to get ready. Move. Jungkook smirked. You glared at him and muttered. Jungkook had expressed his feelings to you in the last summer when you had come to stay at his home. You are ready like him, and that's how it all started and going on. After a while, everyone was sitting around the grand dining table, which was filled with delicious food. Mrs. June grabbed the chopstick and you looked at her nervously. For you, this was no ordinary dinner. This was the first time you had cooked for the entire June family, and every bite they took felt like a judgment. You then looked at Jungkook, who lifted a spoonful of steaming hot pot to his lips. His expression gave away nothing as he chewed slowly, almost too slowly. You swallowed hard, your eyes darting towards him, silently praying he would like it. Slowly, Jungkook leaned back in his chair and his lips curled into a small smirk. Wow, I have never ever tasted a more delicious hot pot than this. A sigh of relief left your mouth and you shyly smiled, but before anyone else could notice it, you quickly lowered your gaze, hiding behind a mouthful of rice. Really, the food is today is outstanding. I have not enjoyed a meal like this in a long time. He said, setting the spoon down as he let out a low chuckle. You giggled slowly. Well, today Vian made all the dishes alone. I must say she's a great cook. She said, leaning forward and caressing your hair. She gave you a motherly smile. You smiled back. Oh, so the little one knows how to cook food also. That is interesting, he said in a teasing voice. You looked up at him with wide eyes and groaned. Don't call me little one, I have grown up. A small smile escaped Jungkook's throat hearing that, but he quickly covered it with a cuff, pretending to focus on his food before anyone else noticed. Vayanya, stop being over dramatic. He called you little one because you are small. But I am 19 years old. I go to college. I am not little one anymore. Yuna, stop scolding her, and Jungkook, don't tease her always. If I ever saw you teasing her again, I would forget you are my son. Jungkook eyes widened in surprise. But mom, I was just kidding. Mrs. June set the knife on the table. You don't need to joke these things. She's right. She has grown up. Soon she will be old enough to get married, so stop calling her little one. You gulped at the maid. Jungkook pissed off. He thought his mother wanted you to marry her best friend's son, whose mother was calling you beautiful once she visited their home. No, mom, she was not. Before he could speak further, you started choking. Ah dear, what happened? Drink the water. She extended a glass of water to you. You took it and looked at Jungkook, who was shooting you a glare. You forced a cheeky smile while gulping down the water. After a while, you were laying on your bed watching K-drama when your phone buzzed. You let out a sigh and grabbed it from the side table. Your eyes widened when you saw the caller ID. It was your boyfriend. A smile appeared on your lips. You quickly straightened up and answered the call. Hey, princess. Your jaw dropped at his bluntness. You quickly whispered back. No, Jungkook, I won't. Why not? You insulted me. You called me little one in front of everyone. What everyone thought I am too little to marry you. You heard his deep chuckle from the other side. Ah, you are upset. Mom had already cleared that, but for me you are still a little one. The same little Mayan who used to come stay at our house and would get so frightened if anyone even looked at her. You never grew up for me, princess. Your throat went dry, you pressed the phone closer. You like me since then? You whispered. Jungkook smiled and said, Of course I love you since then, since the moment I saw you for the first time. You used to come at our house with your dad and Oni when you were only 6 years old. You were always hiding behind your sister, glaring at me, but almost stealing my toys secretly. You guess covering your face with your hand. Stop saying things like that. You're making me blush. Good, because I'm missing you a lot today, princess. We can talk all night. You groaned into the phone, half flustered, half laughing. Don't be so dramatic, Mr. Jungkook. I'm cutting the call. He chuckled, but before you could hang up, he said with a smirk in his voice, Fine then, Mrs. June. Yay, what did you just call me? Your mouth fell open. Hey, before you could say further, he ended the call. You buried your face in the pillow, giggling uncontrollably. Oh, this guy. You whispered while shaking your head. You pulled the blanket over yourself and finally drifted into a sleep with his husky voice still ringing in your ears. The next morning, you stepped into the balcony attached to your room carrying a basket full of freshly washed clothes. You hummed a little tune as you began hanging them carefully on the drying line. Your yellow skirt was swaying in the gentle breeze. The air so cool today. You picked up your cloth from the basket, intending to pin it discreetly at the far end of the line, but suddenly it slipped through your fingers. Your eyes widened in slow motion. Oh, no, 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 no. You watched desperately as your delicate fluttered down from the balcony like a butterfly and then it plopped on something. You quickly looked down to see Jungkook's face. Jungkook had been standing below in the garden, speaking to his men, his dark gaze scanning the property as he gave instruction to one of his men. He looked every bit like the commanding heir of Jeon family, but suddenly flipped. Something felt right on his face, his subordinate on the call heard only silence. Then came the sound of Jungkook's low, amused laugh. I will call you back, he muttered before ending the call. Slowly, almost theatrically, he dragged it off his face with two fingers. Your jaw dropped and your hands were covering your mouth. He looked up at the balcony to see you. Your entire face turned crimson as you whispered, No way, no way, no way. Jungkook smirked and started twirling it around his finger before gesturing up at you, mouthing the words. You gulp hard. Oh, why am so clumsy? You muttered under your breath while looking at him helplessly. He winked at you before slipping it into his pocket and mouthed another word to you, mine. You quickly ducked behind the balcony railing, wishing you could disappear somewhere. No, no, I will have to get it back before he disappears for his work, you thought to yourself and quickly rushed down the staircase. Your hands were fidgeting, your face was red with panic, and your lips kept muttering curses at yourself. You were in so rush that you bumped into Yuna. She frowned immediately, noticing your pale face and sweaty forehead. Why and what happened? Why do you look so scared? And why are you sweating like this? You bit your lower lip nervously, avoiding her sharp gaze. Oni, did you see Jungkook? Yuna blinked in confusion. Yeah, I saw him. He just left for his work for a while ago. Why, what happened? Don't tell me you are again teasing that poor guy. Your eyebrows arched. Poor, and he. You almost laughed, if only she knew. Why am I worrying? Don't mess up with him. You sighed and shaking your head, you rushed to Jungkook's room, hoping that he would have it hid in his room. Reaching his room, you carefully closed the door behind you and looked around his dark room. His room smelled faintly of his cologne, woody, rich, and a little intoxicating. You frantically started searching. You rushed to the drawers and opening them one by one, you started searching for it, but you didn't find it anywhere. Sighing in annoyance, you checked under the pillow, nothing. You even peeked into his wardrobe, still nothing. Where did he put it? You groaned, burying your face in your hands. After searching for more than an hour, finally you collapsed onto the bed in desperation. You dialed his number. The phone rang once, thrice, twice, but nothing. You knew he doing that intentionally. You threw the phone onto the bed, groaning loudly. He's teasing me on purpose. That night, The house eventually grew quiet. Everyone went to sleep one by one. Mr. June in his study, Mrs. June in her room, Yuna with her husband. The hallways grew dim, but you were wide awake. You were pacing back and forth in Jungkook's room, biting your nails. Where is he? When he is coming back, you muttered to yourself. Suddenly, you heard the footsteps in the corridor, and then the door clicked open. Jungkook stepped inside. A smirk tugged on his lips as he saw you standing. Well, I was not expecting this. This is a great surprise. Ah, how the beautiful the moment would be when I would come home exhausted and you would wait for me like this. He said, smirking, your cheeks turned red by his words. Jungkook, give me back. Why in so hurry? You stormed your foot, glaring at him with blushing cheeks. No, first give it to me. Instead of answering, Jungkook chuckled. His voice was low and teasing. Your entire face turned pink, and your breath caught in your throat. So, was you searching for this all day, hmm? Your jaw dropped, you snatched it, but he held it up. Don't tell me you took it with you. Of course I did, he replied in his deep, husky voice. I will always keep it with me until you finally give it back, Jungkook. You managed to stammer. Not at all. He said and tucked it back into his pocket like it was the most prayer. Then, softening his tone, he brushed a strand of hair from your face. You girl feeling the millions of butterflies dancing in your stomach. Slowly, you gave in, you felt your eyelids grew heavier. Jungkook smiled, running a hand through your soft hair. I never thought I would feel like this, he whispered slowly while looking at your beautiful face, which was glowing under the moonlight.